Why come up with a 1/64 ounce double-eyed hook? Well, for one reason, the bait casters use a weighted bait hooks down to a 1/32 ounce. Fly casters use a weighted fly down to 1/80 ounce. A 1/64 can be used by both. The bait caster can now fly fish. The fly caster can now get a heavier weighted fly down into the feeding zone faster. Second, you can now take your grandchildren fly fishing with their Zebcos or the bail casting equipment. Third, you are using a great barbless hook with a wide gap, and you no longer have to tie your dropper on the hook gap, which might come off. How do I do it? Well, first you have to have a tool to bend the hook so I can cut it and use the eye of that hook for my second eye. You need a tool. The tool before you was created by Pappy Ray. He's using a piece of aluminum stock, a 1/4 inch thick. He screws it down to a wood plank. Let's take a closer look at the tool. What he has done here, he has taken 2 pieces of, it looks like an old X-Acto knife, and JB welded them down. This one has a little metal rod sticking out of it. It becomes a stop. Here, he had a little pin coming out, which you would drop the hook eye onto that pin, and this area here is a slot where that hook would fit into. This is the little pin that we're going to bend that hook around. Now you notice too when I said there was a pin in here, I broke it off. But still it's very usable and I'm able to use it. Next, you have to have a tool to turn that hook. And Pappy created one that looks like he used a piece of a drill shank. He put a little brass rod in there that's going to be used for turning. On the bottom, you'll notice he has placed a hole in the middle. And that hole in the middle is going to go over that little pin there. And he has put a, you can see it right there, he's put like a little rod sticking out of there, and I think that is about a hook size thickness. That's going to be the little metal piece that pushes against the hook to bend it. I'm going to put a hook in this area. The pin would go through the eye, which isn't there. I now take my little tool, I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to put that hole on top, and you'll notice that little metal piece is sticking out. Now I've got it in place. I've got to put my finger down because that pin isn't there. And I'm going to turn the hook. Lift it up and pull it off. As you can see, I now have a perfect bend. It's going to be consistent time after time. It's going to be in the right place. Now all I have to do is cut it off. We now have to cut off exactly how I need a little tab down. So if I take my cutters here, I think you can see it. Yeah, you can. And I want to get pretty close to that bend. I just don't want, I want a little tab down. And now I cut it off, put it down here, and I have got, let me zoom in. I always go the other way. Now I've got my little piece, or my other eye. Okay, now I would take my spin cast mold, or my hand mold. I'll put the hook on and that little second eye on. I'll then pour the lead, and when it comes out, I will powder coat it. And now I am ready to tie my attractor fly. I have quite a few examples. Let me show them to you. Well, guys, you saw some of the attractor flies I tied. I'm getting ready to tie a few myself. Appreciate you watching my video. And there's links at the end where you can see other videos. Again, thanks.